Hi, my name is Amanda Plata, and today's lesson is Learn Your Shapes Attributes. In this lesson, the students will be introduced to defining and non-defining attributes of basic shapes. The shapes that will be talked about in this lesson will be a triangle, square, rectangle, and circle. The children will learn the difference between the two-dimensional shapes and identify them by their attributes. So kids will be tasked to hunt a shape, which will be either the circular shape, the triangular shape, rectangular shape, square shape in the classroom, and they will draw them. And this lesson will provide the young students with a great introduction to geometry. This lesson is ideal for first graders. So the learning objective of this class is that students will be able to identify the defining attributes of basic shapes. Students will be able to identify the number of sides that each shape has, and they will be able to also identify the non-defining attributes of a shape. So the class will start with an introduction on. I would have a whole group setting at the time. The students could come closer to the whiteboard, sit at the carpets, and we would talk a little bit about what defining attributes really means. So I would have some students try to either tell me their knowledge or try to guess, and I would explain to them that defining attributes, a characteristic that specifically describes something. For example, a ball is round. So round is a defining attribute. No matter what, a ball will be round. It's not changing. So I would ask them if they would have an idea now that they kind of heard that a defining attribute is something that will not change in 10 minutes, it will not change tomorrow. So what would be a non-defining attribute to this shape, to the ball? So I would explain that it's a non-defining attribute, something that can actually change, can change from today to tomorrow, can change from now to 10 minutes, can change from now to 10 seconds later. So for example, the ball right now is white. If I would color the ball blue, I would be changing the non-defining attribute. So color is a non-defining attribute. Size is a non-defining attribute. A ball is a ball and it's round, but a ball can be bigger, a ball can be small, and a ball can have different colors. So the defining attribute to a ball is that it's round. The size and the color is the non-defining attributes of the ball. So after kind of explaining them a little bit of the defining and non-defining, we would again tell them the defining attributes always present, will not change. So we would ask the students, tell me a defining attribute about yourself. So I would let some students come up with some ideas, and I would share with them that breathing would be a defining attribute. We all have to breathe. And we have to breathe today, and we have to breathe tomorrow. It's not going to change. However, what would be a non-defining attribute about them? So it would be such as size, hair length, hair color, eyes color, skin color, if you wear glasses or not, if you wear braces or not. So they can kind of like relate to what defining and non-defining attributes would have been a shape to themselves. So after talking a little bit more about the defining and non-defining attributes about themselves, you would draw a column, 2 columns in the whiteboard. In one side of the column, you would write triangle, circle, square, and rectangle. And then you would note to the students, tell the student that the defining attribute for this is the number of sides and the fact they're closed. So you would explain to them that closed shapes do not have an opening. So for example, triangle does not have an opening. A circle does not have an opening. A square does not have an opening, and a rectangle does not have an opening. And you would explain to them that a triangle have 3 sides. So you would say every time a line of the triangle touch another line of the triangle, that makes 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides. Circle don't have lines, so circles do not have sides. Now let's look at the square then. This line is touching this line, so that makes 1 side. This line is touching this line, that makes 2 sides. This line is touching this line, that makes 3 sides. And this line is touching this line, that makes 4 sides. And the same to the rectangle. The rectangle also have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So then you would invite some students to come to the whiteboard, and you would ask them to identify, to write the defining attributes of the shape. So pretty much for the triangle, they would be able to write that they have 3 sides. They will never change on a triangle, and it's closed. And then they would have them come and write it down. Their circle has no sides, and it's closed. And the square has 4 sides, and it's closed. And the rectangle have 4 sides, and it's also closed. So the triangle have 3 sides and it's closed. The circle have no sides and it's closed. The square has 4 sides and it's closed. And the rectangle has 4 sides and it's closed. Then you would ask the students to come and identify some non-defining attributes of the shape. So they could say to all of them, it would be color, because the color can change, and size. Size can also change. A square can be big or small or medium. It can be red, blue, or yellow, right? So you could draw some examples to them. Oh, we're gonna use a triangle. So the triangle will have the 3 sides. However, it can have very different size, and it can also vary in color. One can be green, one can be red, and one could be blue. So 3 sides enclosed, however, big, medium, and small. Red, green, red, and blue. So those are the non-defining attributes, color and size. However, sides, close, is the attributes, the defining attributes of a shape. After that, you would do a guided practice. I would have students sitting back at this desk and they would work with their elbow partner. And I would have passed them the everyday circle worksheet. So this is an everyday circle worksheet. So they would go around the classroom and they would look for shapes, 5 shapes, their circle, and they would label them. And again, you would explain to them that circles have no sides and they are closed. You would give them about 15 minutes to complete this task, and then we would move to independent working time, which students would work then on the everyday rectangles, which they would look around. They do not need to walk around. They can sit on the desk and just look around for 5 different rectangle shapes in class and label them. And after that, they would do the everyday triangle, where they will look for 5 shapes of triangles and label them as well. So after they complete the guided practice, I would do a quick assessment where they can use either a sheet of white paper or math notebook, if that's something they use. They would label 1 through 4, and I would ask questions to them such as, how many sides does a triangle have? Is a triangle open or closed shape? How many sides a rectangle have? Is a rectangle open or closed shape? How many sides a circle have? Is it a open or closed shape? And how many sides a square has? Is it an open or is it a closed shape? Correct? Now, for the students that are gifted, I would accommodate them by actually giving them some white paper and construction paper, different colors, and having them to pick 3 shapes out of the 4 and build something like a house, for example. And they would label to me what shape is that, how many sides, if it's open and closed. And by using different colors, they would have to define to me the non-defined attributes, label the non-defined attributes by size if they use different size, and by color as well. For the students that need a little bit of more support, for the students on special education, for example, I would have pre-cut shapes for them in different colors, and I would pass around, and I would give it to them, and I would ask them to label on the front how many sides, and if it's closed or open, and in the back they would label to me if it has a non-defining attribute, for example, the color or the size. So this one is bigger than this one, to kind of help them to visualize better. And for students that English second language, there are a lot of resources online. You can find some flashcards where they would have the shapes on their home language and the shapes in English. So that would benefit and help them to also grasp a little bit better the concepts about the class today. I hope you had enjoyed my class and have a good day. Bye.